Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Discussion Lounge. We were on a little break. We're having a little summer vacation, but we're back now with the Cudahy Alliance for Justice. This is the part two. Apparently, we have developments of what's been going on, and I'm really happy to have the group back. And we actually have two familiar faces with Tavina and Star, and we actually have two new faces with Susie and Bertha. So it's going to be awesome talking to the group again. And yeah, let's get right into it. Tavina, you're the one that reached out to me and let me know that you wanted to do another segment on what's been going on, and definitely something that me and Hector care about. And we've been supporting y'all however we can. Discussion Lounge is there for y'all. So yeah, let us know what's been going on, and pass the ball around to the group, and anyone who wants to jump in, let us know and let the community know what's been going on.
Hi, yeah. From the last time, I think the last time we spoke, we were gonna do a pupusal sale to raise funds for paying our lawyer and whatever we need, for the lawsuit. And so we had two successful pupusa sales. Thank you both for participating and contributing. And thank you for everybody in the community, outside the community, donations. I mean, everybody was so wonderful. Thank you to the lady who actually made the pupusas and her family, because they really helped us out a lot. um so they were successful and we were able to raise some funds, not all we needed, but still. So in since that time we have had some actions that we're planning. On the 23rd is one. I'll have maybe Susie talk about that one, what the action is all about. Susie, you want to talk about that action?
Hi. Yes, hi, this is Susie, and I'm part of the Cudahy Alliance for Justice. So, the action that we're planning on July, excuse me, July 23rd, it's at 3 p.m., and it's an action and rally, and it's going to be located, it's going to be taking place where the site is on the corner of Otis and Olive. And that's where KIPP is planning to build. So we're just planning on gathering there to draw attention so that people can see what the site looks like, to see that even though KIPP has alleged that they've been cleaning up the location, that there really has not been any thorough cleanup besides just breaking a little bit of asphalt and just throwing it around at on the other side of the site. But there hasn't been any actual deep and thorough cleanup like they should be doing. So that's why we're gathering there. We're hoping many people from the community and anyone else that might be listening can also join and support us in this cause.
Awesome. So July 23rd, right? You said.
Yes, at 3 p.m.
And okay, and just to be clear, this is something that Kip has already stated, right? Like they're telling people like the mayor, right, and the city council. They're, according to them, they're cleaning up the site, the site's being cleaned up and ready for the project to continue, and that's an obvious lie.
Not only that, Ellen, also on their website. They've been really busy. They've been really busy on their website, sponsoring KIPP Pueblo Unido, because every KIPP has their own school. The one in Cudahy is going to be KIPP Pueblo Unido. So they've just kind of been throwing like little jabs, saying that there's this committee out there, which is us, that's saying that the site is contaminated, but that it's really not. They've done the cleanup. It's good to go. It's safe for the kids. But when you go to the site, Tavina just went, I think it was last week, and she took some pictures. In order for that site to be clean, like they need to break up the ground. They need to go deep. They need more testing to be done. They need to do it properly for the whole land to be clean. And when you pass by there, none of that has been done. It's, yes, they've cleaned, but it's kind of like they've de-weeded, they've swept, they've thrown trash away, but that is not a proper cleanup. That is not removing toxins from the land. So on their website, they're just kind of saying like, oh, it isn't as bad as this group is making it seem, which it's a lot worse than it really is.
Yeah, so I mean, so an undertaking like that, you would probably see like an entire like operation going on, right? Where you see like stuff closed off, maybe like fences around everything so people can't see inside. You know, that's what it should look like. And Tavina, if you have those pictures, send them that way. Like we're talking about this right now, I'll flash them on the screen so people can see what we're talking about. And yeah, you know, it's awful. It's just kind of like one of those things that just boils your blood, right? When you're someone from the community like that, and you're like, dude, like you know, you're not even doing the going through the proper channels first of all, and then lying to the community, you know, about what you're doing properly or not. And yeah, it's definitely horrible. Hector, do you want to jump in real quick before we hop it over?
Yeah. So if I'm if I caught it right, this the process is moving forward in court, correct?
We are already in litigation with them. We started this, I think it was in October, November of last year when we filed the lawsuit. So we've been in litigation. Um, Currently, what we're working on is possible settlement, but we're not going to settle for anything less that's not going to be protecting our community. So in other words, we're still fighting for a legally binding cleanup that is properly done, safely done. Because even if they clean up, Alan, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, they can't just go in there and clean up, because when they do that, when they're actually like digging, breaking ground, um, you can expose the community, especially the people that live right across the street from there, the people that are walking by there, the people that are at the park. And then if they do it when school's back in session and in person, you know, Teresa Hughes is right there too. So you're going to expose a lot of people. So that's why we're fighting. And one of our demands is to have a legally binding cleanup. So to ensure and protect the safety of everyone in the community. It's not just those of us that live here, but anyone here in the community. So that's one of our demands. We gather weekly, and we've been like going through it's just talking to see what it is that we're going to accept. But that's one of the demands, that we're not going to accept anything less. Maybe there's others that we could probably come to a negotiation and maybe give in a little, but this is one that we're not going to back down from.
Right. And yeah, like you just said, you know, it can expose people to the toxins that are coming out of the ground. So this is something that unfortunately should have been done before there was even housing built around here, right? So this is what's like the huge issue about this is that like, dude, first of all, you're not doing this right. Second of all, you're ignoring the fact that this was already an issue before, right? So it's just kind of like stacking a problem on top of a problem, right? And that's something we wanted to avoid. Tavina, I saw you with your hand up. Did you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say we have Berta with us, which she worked at Park Avenue during the whole debacle. So I think that her testimony is really important for people to understand, because she actually went through it. She worked there. So um, you know, this is what we're trying to prevent, what Berta went through. So maybe she could talk about that.
Yeah, Bertha, can you like let us know like maybe like some similarities or what you can foresee happening here the same way it happened back then, and let people know like since you went through it, what can be the consequences of allowing something like this to happen?
Okay, so back in 1989, I was a teacher assistant at Park Avenue Elementary. And that was around the time where the children started noticing, they were playing with these bubbles swelling up on the playground. When I was supervising them on the playground, I noticed that they were like poking on these bubbles. And then, so that kind of brought up the concern of what's going on here. And so it wasn't until into the the community, the parents and the teachers organized and brought this to the attention of the district, that we found out that the school was actually built on top of a landfill, and the landfill was not cleaned up before, and they didn't clean up the soil properly before building the school on top of it. And as a matter of fact, also Cudahy Park, which is right next to us, is still contaminated. And they did not clean that up, even though they know that it's contaminated. And that's bringing up some issues now, because I think the city is planning to build, is it a soccer field, Susie?
No, they're just planning to like revamp it. Just probably like have a baseball field, new playground equipment, just things
But
like
that's
that.
very dangerous. That's very dangerous because they're going to be disturbing the soil. And so when they do that, God knows what's going to come up. Back then, they found arsenic. They found there was petroleum. There were different like sludge. This just different contaminants in the soil. And I just remember that it was a long process. Lots of meetings with the Department of Toxic Substances, lots of meetings with the Environmental Protection Agency, like trying to get the place cleaned up. And it just took a long time, and it was very, very stressful for everyone, the students and the staff. We had to be relocated to a different school. So we actually had to go to several schools during the process of the cleanup. We were at Russell Elementary, and then we went to Elizabeth Learning Center, and I don't remember if we were actually at Teresa Hughes. I don't think we were. I think we were at Elizabeth Learning Center, and then we eventually we also occupied Ellen Ochoa Learning Center. Before it was called Ellen Ochoa Learning Center, it was the Bel Cudahy Primary Center. So it was just very stressful for the families, for staff, for the parents, because their kids were not right around the corner. Sometimes, they were quite far, and a lot of them don't have cars. So when they got sick, it was a big problem. But it's just very scary because when we were going through it at Park Avenue, there were I remember there were a lot of teachers at our school. I don't know the exact number, but there were quite a few teachers who had miscarriages during that time. And so when we learned about the contamination, then we started asking, wait, are these miscarriages linked to the contamination? But all we got from them was no, you really can't prove it. You really can't link it. A lot of health issues, a lot of kids with asthma, a lot of cancer cases, with unknown costs. So yeah, this is very scary, very scary and very serious. They've already violated a lot of laws. They've removed arsenic and lead without notifying the Department of Toxic Substances. They've removed some gasoline tanks that were underground without notifying the fire department, which they're supposed to do. And so they're already in violation of a lot of laws, and I think they're going to be having to pay some heavy fines.
Yeah, that's the crazy trickle effect, right? That can happen when you do something wrong the first time, right? So you have kids out of school, you have staff out of work, you got school shut down, right? You have all these problems that can occur, and here we are, like 30 years later almost, and we're about to do the same thing, right? So what I would also like to know is Tavina or Susie or Star, Bertha, you guys are always at the council meetings. Well, they just had one online that I attended for a bit, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what they were going to talk about, what couldn't be talked about. It was just like a shit show, right? I can't believe that it's that hard to run a meeting. Like, like let me run it. I guarantee you I'll do a better job than what the hell these guys are doing. But yeah, it's unfortunate and it sucks. But has any of the council members or the mayor come around on this issue, or starting to see that this is gonna be more harmful than beneficial for the community?
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
so the meeting, the shit show was because whoever made the agenda, which I said on public comment, whoever made the agenda messed up, put the wrong court number. And that's why one of the reasons I was so upset with the attorney trying to tell us, the residents, that we should look up court cases if we want to know what's in them, because obviously they didn't do it themselves because they got the wrong court case. Therefore, they could not talk about whatever that the court case they were supposed to talk about was going on, because they messed up the agenda. So that was the reason why it was so much confusion. And so they put Jack's old case that has been closed for a while now, and so whoever did the agenda messed up, and they were trying to cover for that, which they shouldn't have. They should have just been upfront and said, we made a mistake and this is what happened. But instead of doing that, they lied and they made us try to make us look stupid. Thank God we're not stupid, and we know. So, and we bite back. So, they have it all on record that we know they messed up. And that's why that meeting was a shit show. And we still have people like Jack Guerrero defending KIPP. He still did it that meeting. I don't know if you guys want to jump in real quick.
I'll hop in on that one. Okay, so Jack's thing all the time is we need to give his argument is parents need to have choices. Okay, I'll give him that. As a mom, yes, I should have to have choices. But those choices should never be, do I send my child to a public school or do I send my child to a charter school that in the long run is going to kill my child? That should never be the choice. My child's health should never be a choice that I have to make in order for my child to get an education. That should never be a choice at all. Another issue with this whole shit show in city council is our mayor. When it comes to the voting, he's recusing himself because he owns property in Cudahy, because he works for LA Unified, and because he's part of this committee named ALA. So it's easy for him to say, like we say in Spanish, de dientes para afuera, yeah, I'm on your guys' side. But we don't know because he's not voting on the issue. So he can clearly say like, oh yeah, I got your guys' back. I just can't really do it because I can't vote. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We don't know if KIPP is giving him a cut or not. And that's the real truth behind it, because that's what he comes and says during council meetings. Like, oh, if I could, I am all for, having this cleanup done the right way. And I would have voted no for KIPP not to be in the community. So it's shady.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of your vote, right? Like, your whole power is in your vote. So if you're not voting, first of all, you're not doing anything. You're not doing your job. And second of all, like, you're not proving to anyone what side you're on. So, that's double fail.
And can I add too also, because as you know, to be a council member, to be a mayor, to be a vice mayor, you have to be a resident of Cudahy. So how does it make sense that you can recuse yourself because you're going to be living close to some of these projects? So that just doesn't make sense to me that they should have that option, that escape. So and then another thing I wanted to add is we feel that the reason their council, whether it's the mayor or vice mayor, including them too, they're just looking for ways to excuses to not step up and actually do what they were voted in there to do, to protect their community. So like I've been telling the group, our vice mayor, Elizabeth Alcantar, she tells us, I support you guys, I agree, but I'm limited to what I can do. I'm worried that this is actually going to go through. But when when it comes to other issues that she is supporting and maybe the other councils don't, she fights for it. She fights for it like a lion, I guess I could say. But she fights for it and to make sure that it goes through. This, she, even though she voted against it, to me it wasn't a real vote, because all she did was say, make a question, well, is the land toxic? They told her yes, that's what the reports say, but she didn't fight for it. She was like a mouse,
Okay.
just, trying to pretend, but she doesn't have a backbone. Our council does not have a backbone.
Yeah. So then there's like the kind of like the difference, right? Where we got one guy not voting and he's being super charismatic about his not voting, right? And then we got this other person who's voting your way, but at the same time it's like, yo, nobody hears you because you're not making like a rah-rah about it, right? And especially when we're talking about our kids and her being somebody who went to school in Cudahy like her whole life, you know, it should be on her, right? Like I feel like at this point, like, you know, we're over here doing more than the person that's sitting at the desk, right? So that's unfortunate too. And who's to say, right? She's really young, right? So everybody can get got, right, with this whole game. Like I think that just that as soon as these people get into a position, whether it's you know, mayor or it's city council, it's like a stepping stone for their next thing, right? So they're kind of just voting the way that they need to vote because the people that are gonna get them their next thing want them to vote that way, right? So unfortunately, I've seen a lot of that. There's very few cases where, you know, some of the people have stayed in the community and don't leave, like, you know, like Chris, who apparently doesn't live in the city of Cudahy and he's just been doing his whole little fucking mafia gig there now. So that's really annoying to see, right? People who come from our community taking advantage of our community, right? And not to say that Elizabeth is doing that, but at the same time, like, dude, you know, you're feisty on all these other issues. Like, can we get you feisty on our kids, like possibly going to a school that can harm them? You know, like this is a serious issue. Definitely. So, uh, whoa. So yeah, going forward now, we got the lawsuit case, right? You guys are still in litigation with these guys. What events do you have, and what are guys planning to continue to spread the word?
So we want the public, we need more support at the council meetings, because we need to put pressure on these council members. So these council members, you know, except for two of them, because Blanca and Jack have made everything difficult. For every situation they make difficult. um I personally think, you know, Jose and Daisy and Elizabeth, they're not evil people. They genuinely care, but they only take the easy routes, and that's the problem. If you're going to fight for your community for real, you're going to get into the ugly, and you're going to be there when it gets really tough. Like this is tough because they're scared to be sued, they're scared of this, they're scared of that. But that's when we need you the most, and that's why we're fighting so hard, because they're not there. And that's why we need to put pressure on them to let them know, hey, you know what, if you guys don't help us when we need it the most, you're not going to be voted in again, you know. And so we need people at the council meetings. We go every, what is it, twice a month, every other Tuesday. It starts at 6:30, but public comment is at 7:30. Closed session public comment is at 6:30. The agenda is always online. You can always reach out to any of us and we'll let you know, you know, what things are about. We've been really lucky recently because the other group that's fighting the Isaias case, they also back us up and we back them up. So we've come with more supporters, but we always need more people to pressure our council, because if we don't change things, with our council, nothing's going to change. We need to change ordinances. We need to change zoning. We need to change all these things so this doesn't happen again.
One of the things that we've done as a Cudahy Alliance for Justice is that we each filed a complaint with the Environmental Protection Agency, and I just received so that's something that anyone who wants to help us, they can do. They can file a complaint with the Environmental Protection Agency and let them know what's going on. If they reach out to one of us, we can make that process easy. I got an email saying that they're investigating and they are reporting to the Department of Toxic Substances.
Oh,
So that should get some attention.
okay, yeah, we can definitely share that link. We'll put it up on the screen, and yeah, maybe people who watch the video can go there and do that, and I'll definitely be doing that as well. Because yeah, we got to go to the top, right, which is the environmental agencies that are there to protect us when our council members and our mayors are dropping the ball, right? Yeah. Sorry, Hector.
Yeah, no, I was when everyone was talking, I was thinking about how difficult it is to be a good politician, right? And a politician with good morals and ethics, as your base. Um, I could imagine that, you know, at the beginning, the idea of being like a politician for your city was something, honorable, right? For all these individuals that are there right now. And I'm sure, they were doing it for all the right reasons. And like you guys are saying, and then like Alan was saying, like somewhere down the line, like, all these special interests, start arising, and now you have to sort of play the game, right? Because I understand that within, being a politician, it's also a game, right? It's not just as simple as like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to, what I believe in, and let it be. Like it's you have to deal with, different opinions. You have to deal with people who have a different view. Obviously, like I remember, a couple years back, when the whole legalizing or trying to like get dispensaries or marijuana dispensaries in Cudahy, Jack Guerrero was just being, a complete pain in the butt, so you have to deal with all that. That's part of the game. But I think the most important thing, like Alan, when you asked, like, what can we do, right? And I said this a lot of times in the podcast, like when people are in this position, just like you guys are doing, you got to put the pressure, and you have to hold everyone accountable to the highest level, right? Like, no, like, oh, we should be more, easy on them. Like, no, you gotta go hard on them, and you gotta, if someone makes a mistake, especially, and a person that's in city council, in the city, is a city council member, or the mayor, or whoever it is, president of the United States, doesn't matter. Like, any little mistakes that they make, we got to hold them accountable, because moving forward, you don't want them to keep making those mistakes, right? We did a really bad job with Trump, I think, at holding him accountable. And obviously there's a lot of different factors as to why we couldn't, because he had like, a big following, and he had a lot of people that were either afraid of him or were a fan of him. But yeah, I think that's one good start. Just keep up the pressure, and eventually the truth is going to win. Whether it is today or tomorrow, but the truth is going to come out, and it's always going to win.
Yeah, man, you mentioned like Trump, right? And that just brings me to like Jack, right? Jack Guerrero is like the Trump of Cudahy, right? He always has been. And it just annoys me the fact that the same like MAGA cult that we see for Trump, we see in Cudahy for Jack. Like, these people are unwavering, dude. Like, they will back him up, like, they will go to the ends of the earth to like defend this man, and this man has done absolutely nothing for the community. And I think he's been in office for like, I don't know, the better half of like 15, 20 years now, maybe. And I haven't seen him do a damn thing. Whenever it comes to like voting for something that matters, he abstains. He hasn't been doing his job. Like, and not only that, like, he's ruffling feathers, right? When it came to the sanctuary city stuff, he was inviting MAGA people from other cities to come into our town, right? This is when I was still living there, to come into our town, bro. They were coming on a stupid yellow short bus, dude, like, because the dumb motherfuckers, right? They were showing up in the little yellow bus, dude, getting off and getting into our meetings, like, wearing, like, bulletproof vests and all the same shit that you see in the insurrection on June January 6th. That's what was happening on a small scale in Cudahy, bro. Like, that's literally what was going on. These fools were actually trying to infiltrate our spot and thought that they were gonna do something by being loud, right? And Jack understands this. Jack understands that, like, in order to get people on your side, you got to make some noise, right? And he plays it perfectly. He's like the WWE wrestler of all wrestlers, right? He comes out talking mad shit, and you go out there and he doesn't do anything, right? It's all show. So there has to be a candidate. There has to be somebody out there. Tavina, I'm looking at you. There has to be somebody out there that can dethrone this man. Because with him out, I think a lot of things could be possible. Honestly, this man, and now that he has influence on other people that are coming up, I've seen how he does this. He thought he was gonna, when Markovich was in there, he thought he was gonna manipulate him the entire time. That's exactly why he brought him up. He thought that he could control him. So this is Jack's game. He's up there, and he needs to bring other people up that believe the same garbage that he does, in order to stay in the spot that he's in. But Tavina, go ahead. Sorry.
I sometimes I think I've said it to Susie. A lot of people have said Susie and I should run. We'd probably run together and then we'd kick ass. It's just hard because it's a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of it's a lot of politics, and that's, we do want to do it and we don't want to do it. It's a really hard decision. But I think that her and I would, obviously do good for our community, because we're here for our community. Like, we are here, we're present, we've been present for many years, and we don't see that all the time with the council. That's something that we don't see. The only person that I see everywhere is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And that's just, honestly, I've always seen Elizabeth around. I still see her around. As for the other people, I don't see them at our community events. I don't see them fighting for little things. I don't see them fighting for big things, and that's a problem. Now, putting on the pressure, what we have done is we've got on our side Green Latinos recently, and CBE, which is Communities for a Better Environment, and those are two big environmental groups that are backing us. So they're going to help us put the pressure. And then recently, we've also been able to connect with a nonprofit organization so that we can get bigger funds from bigger donors, which we weren't able to do before. So hopefully in the future we can, raise more funds, because in all honesty, to beat KIPP, we need experts. We need experts that are going to tell us, hey, you know what, this is worse than it looks. They haven't tested, and just judging by little tests that they can do, they can tell us a whole lot. We already know the truth, but it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And we all know that. So
Exactly, and that's a big point, Tavina, that anyone who's in local government or in government at all should have started from like a grassroots movement, right? Like something that you did in your community, maybe like you did something while you were in high school, maybe, or like just some kind of activism, right? And I don't think Jack has ever been an activist for fucking anything. I cannot see that guy like getting in the picket line and marching around and actually doing something good with his time or his fucking life. I can't see it, right? So to that point, like, yeah, the people who are leading the march on protecting the community are y'all. So y'all should be where they're at. That's what we need to see, and I think that's what we need to. If Tavina, if you ever run, or if anyone, Susie or anybody in the Cudahy Alliance for Justice runs, definitely they'll have our support 100%. You already know Discussion Lounge is here for you guys. Is there anything that any of you lovely ladies would like to add before we end the segment?
I just want to say, if you guys can help us spread the word on our action that's coming up on July 23rd at 3 o'clock, and here right across from Lugo Park. I mean, maybe putting it that way might be easier to identify. And because we need to get people out there, we need to make sure that they're informed about what's going on. So helping us spread that word to the community.
Yeah, I'll definitely be attending that one, and I'm gonna let all of our people on our Instagram and our Facebook and all that stuff. I'll let them know that that's gonna be going on that day, and that a lot of the surrounding people who live there should be showing up to that for sure.
The other thing, Ellen, is that Blanca Lozoya needs to go. That woman, she never participates when they call on her. She's never there, and she always claims she's having technical difficulties. And you know what? And all she does is echo whatever Jack says.
Yeah. So Blanca, right? This is one of those Jack plants, right? These are these people that Jack finds. I don't know where he finds these people, but he finds them, and they just get on there and they do his bidding. And yeah, that's the only way that Jack has been able to stay. I don't think there's ever been a time in his tenure there that he's been there that there hasn't been like a little person, like another person, like sidekick that he's had, like backing up all the stuff that he says. So yeah, the whole point is like, yeah, if Tavina and Susie run on a slate, they need to take out Jack and Blanca. They need to take both of them out at the same time, if it's even possible. I don't know what the rules are now, but
we'll help you with your campaign, girl. Come
yeah,
on.
definitely. That's something that I would love to do. I could die happy if I know that I was involved in something that got Jack out of his seat for good. That would be awesome time spent for real. But yeah, Star, anything else before we go? You've just been like floating in the wind over there.
On the whole Blanca thing, we've called her out on it multiple times. Like, hey, you abstain from commenting. When it comes to voting on something, she abstains. When they ask her if she has questions or wants to comment, she'll say no. And her response was, "Oh, I heard you guys say that I don't, say much. It's just I like to listen." No, get off your ass. I don't want you to listen. They didn't vote you in this city council for you to sit there and listen. The community's here to listen. You're there to get up and do something. But that's her excuse, that she likes to listen.
No, I don't know, like, de donde sacaron that, like, this job is like a hobby, or like it's like a thing where you're just supposed to chill, or like whatever it is. Like, that is not what this is. I'm sorry, girl. There's work to do.
Yeah, and she won't vote on anything. Like, when they go through each member, if they call her name before they call Jack's, she'll say, "I'll abstain." If they call her after Jack, she'll just echo what Jack says. She's his puppet. She's Jack's puppet.
Yeah, so on those situations, as much as I hate to say it, like, it's the community that keeps voting these people in, man. Like, so you need to change the minds of the people who are voting in Cudahy, because there's no reason why they can't see through the bullshit the way that you guys are, right? At that point, they're choosing to be assholes. Right, you're choosing to support this dude and this woman who obviously have nothing good to do. Like, they have nothing else to do but to fuck everything up, basically, right? And there's no reason why these people should be getting any votes. So I don't understand on what basis these people think it's a good vote, to vote for Jagger, to vote for this woman, Blanca. Yeah, I don't get it. So as much as we want to hate them, like, we got to look at our people too, Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you hear. And if you want to hear some of the issues that you care about discussed on Discussion Lounge, go ahead and drop them in the comments section.